Hi everyone. Today we're going to go through the Word Chapter 2 Guided Project 2.1. As you can see, I'm in SimNet. I opened up the Word Chapter 2 tile and I'm going to click on the Word Chapter 2 Guided Project 2.1. So if I click on it, just like I did with the first couple of projects, I am going to ignore the best practices and I am going to start by downloading the start file. So I just click on it, goes to the bottom of my screen. Just like we've done in the past, we're going to open it up. When we open it up, there's always going to be a yellow bar on top. Click on the Enable Editing. And then let's save this so we know where it is to upload it. So I'm going to do a File, Save As. I am going to navigate, so hit the Browse button, to My Documents, where I have set up a folder called SS for Software Savvy. And if you guys have other folders in here like Word, PowerPoint, whatever, you can save it in those folders. I'm just going to save mine in my SS folder and I'm going to hit save. And just like what happened the other day, it didn't work. So I'm going to then just kind of default to my downloads. All right, I am going to go through the steps. So if you want to open up the instructions on SimNet, the instructions are the instructions for Windows. So I click on those and I am going to open them up. Now I want to point something out in these instructions. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of the instructions, your end file is going to be kind of shown here. So if you get confused along the way, where was I supposed to put something? How does something look? Always kind of refer to this picture at the end, and that should help you answer questions. So I'm going to start up here with step 1. Step 1 says, open up the start document and then save it. So we've done step 1 and 2. Step 3 has us changing the margins. So it says click the margins button in our layout tab, page setup group. So I'm going to go over to my layout tab, which is right here. And I can see here's my page setup group. I'm going to pull the margins button down. Now it tells me in step 3A, I want to choose custom margins, which is all the way at the bottom. And I want to change my left and right margins to 0.75. So I'm going to highlight left, put in 0.75, and then I'm going to highlight right and put in 0.75. And then I'm going to click OK. I can see everything kind of shifted over a little bit farther to the left. So margins are those spaces around your document. Step 4, it says change the themes. So step 4A says go to your themes button in your design tab. So I'm going to go to my design tab and I'm going to look in my document formatting group, okay, which is this whole big group here. The far left side, I've got a themes button. It tells me that I want to select integral. They aren't alphabetical order, so you'll kind of just have to kind of meander and find them, but I found it's in the first row there, integral. And then it tells me to choose the colors button, which the colors button is way over here. And this, what the themes did is it kind of changed the setup, the fonts, the colors that were going to be used. Now we're going to change the colors even more. So I'm going to choose colors and I'm going to choose aspect. So again, wish that they were in alphabetical order. They're not. I had to scroll to the bottom to find aspect. And the colors have now changed. Now you may not see it, but Central Sierra is kind of this purplish color with like an orangish outline. That's what it's supposed to look like. Step 5A. We want to change the font size and spacing. So just like I did in Project 1, Control A to select everything. And then I'm going to go to my font size, which is in my Home tab. I am going to change my font size here. So instead of pulling down the arrow, I'm just going to click in the box and I am going to type in 11 and press enter. Everything got a bit smaller. Then it tells me I want to change my line spacing to single spacing. So there's a couple ways that I can do that. I could open up my paragraph launcher here and change it to single spacing, which is, here's line spacing right here. but I'm actually going to use a shortcut. In the paragraph group, there's this button that has lines with an up and down arrow. I can pull this down and I can choose the 1.0, which is single spacing. Step D says change the after paragraph spacing. Now again, I could go to my paragraph launcher, or like I did before, I could go into my layout tab, and here's my before and after spacing. Well, it tells me that I want to change my after spacing to 6, and then I'm going to press enter. Everything kind of gets closer together. Now right here, just in case I don't want to lose anything, I've already saved this document. I'm going to press Control S to resave it so I don't lose anything if my computer shuts down. Step 6 says we're going to apply a style. It says put your insertion point in the first line of text, which starts with contractor's insurance questionnaire. So I'm just going to kind of put my cursor anywhere in the line, and then I am going to choose the title style. So I'm going to go back to my home tab. There's this whole section in my home tab that is called styles. These are kind of pre-made setup fonts that you can use. Colors, sizes, different font styles. Well, I'm going to pull this more arrow down. And again, the more arrow is the down pointing arrow with a dash on top. And I can see all of the styles here. It tells me that I want to choose title style. So I just mouse over it. I didn't even click it, and it shows me a little example of how it's going to change. The letters got bigger. I have an orange line under them. I'm going to choose this style. Then it tells me to select the second line of the document. Please carefully read and understand, and so on. So I'm going to triple click in this line to select the whole line. And then step 6D says right click here, and you want to change the style to book title. So if I right click, I can go to styles. Nope, I'm sorry, in the mini toolbar, which is right here. Here is styles, and it tells me that I want to choose book title, which if I mouse over book title, it looks like this. It's kind of all caps and looks a little bit bold. Now, if you didn't find that on the mini toolbar, just go up here again to the home and choose your book title. So this whole line should now be changed. Step E says with this text still selected, click the change case button. So we're in our home tab in our font group. The change case button is this capital A, lowercase a together. If I pull it down, I actually want to change my case to uppercase. Well, it might look uppercase to you here, but this is actually small caps. So I'm going to pick uppercase, and it just makes all of the letters a little bit bigger. Step F says select applicant instructions. So that's the third line, and I'm going to triple click, and it tells me that I want to apply the intense quote style. I'm going to go up to my styles here, pull the more button down, and intense quote. So make sure you are choosing intense quote and not one of the other intense styles. So it's going to look like it's orange with this kind of indented from the left margin. So I'm going to choose that. Step G says in the next paragraph, please answer all questions. We're going to apply the strong style. So I'm just going to click anywhere in here. You don't really have to select everything. I'm going to go to my styles, pull the more button down. Here I've got strong, and I'm going to click on it. And I just told you you don't have to select it. Apparently you do have to select it. So I'm going to try again. So strong, and everything kind of becomes bold. It tells you, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to undo this. The shortcut for undo is Control Z. It only wanted me to apply this style to the all caps words. So I am going to now undo my strong style, and I'm going to select the word all, apply strong, select the word none, apply strong, and then select the word none again and apply strong. So only those caps words. Step H, it says on the second page of the document, select insurance application disclaimer. So I'm going to scroll down, Insurance application disclaimer is right above these last couple of paragraphs here, and it tells me that I want to apply the intense quote style. So styles just kind of give you a shortcut for applying fonts. Step 7, it says click on the More button to display all of the styles. Well, I'm clicked on this insurance application disclaimer, so I'm just going to click off of it. I'm going to go up here, and instead of clicking on it, I'm going to right click on it, and this context menu pops up. You want to choose Modify here, and we're going to make some changes to the style. So in your font area, change the size from 11 to 12 point font, and then it tells you to click the Format button at the bottom, and you want to choose Paragraph. So right now we're in our font settings. Now we're going to go to our paragraph settings. In paragraph, you want to change your left and right indents to 0. So I'm going to highlight the indent for the left, type in 0, press enter. Oh, I shouldn't have pressed enter. Go back to paragraph, type in the right, press 0, and now you can hit enter or click OK. Step G says click only in this document, this little radio button. So when you change the style, you only want it to apply to this document. You don't want it to change the style for everything. My little button's already filled in, so I'm going to click OK. And now I should see that these two intense quotes are still orange, but they're a little bigger and they are at the left margin. So it automatically changed it for me. Step 8 says add borders and shading. So 8A says on the second page, select the first 3 paragraphs below insurance application disclaimer. So these 3 paragraphs here on the second page is what I want to select. And it tells me to click the borders drop down arrow. So I'm on my home tab. I am in my paragraph group. Okay, borders I always say look like a window pane. It looks like this little box with the lines in between. I'm going to pull the arrow down, and I am going to choose a custom setting. So, it tells you to open the borders and shading, so go all the way down to the bottom to open up the borders and shading pop-up. Now once you get here, in the settings area, you want to choose custom. So you want to make your own border. You don't want to use a pre-made one. In the style area, you can choose a lot of different kinds of lines. We want to choose the solid line, which is the top one. For the color, we want to choose orange accent 1. This is the orange color at the top row. So I mouse over it, the name pops up. We want to change the width of this border to a little thicker, a 1-point line. And in the preview area, we are going to click the left and the right. So if you guys watch what I am doing, I'm on the left side of these fake text here, and I'm just going to click. An orange line pops up. I am going to click over here on the right side, an orange line pops up. Now you could have done the same thing by clicking on these left and right buttons, but the preview area shows what this is going to actually look like. Step H says in the Apply To area, select, make sure it says paragraph. And then step I says click the Options button. So underneath we're going to click Options to open up this borders and shading box. And we're going to change the left and right settings to 5 point. So right now left and right are 4. I'm just going to put 5 in instead. Now once I've got that, I am going to click OK. Now I've got my border done, but I don't have my shading done. So I'm going to go up here to this shading tab here, and I'm going to click on it. Shading is kind of the colored background behind something. I am going to choose my shading to be orange accent 1, but if I move down here, there's some other colors. It's a lighter color here. So I'm going to pick this first one underneath the main orange color, which is called Orange Accent 1 Lighter 80%. Now once I've got all of the border done and the shading done, I'm going to click OK. Now I can see this kind of stands out with some orange borders and some shading in the middle. Step 9, it says we want to change our paragraph spacing and add tab stops. So tells me step 9A to go to the second page and select the last 3 lines of text. Name all the way through date of application. Step B says click the paragraph launcher. I'm in my home tab. Here's my paragraph group, and I'm going to click the launcher here. Once I click the launcher, I am going to go into my before paragraph spacing, which is now 0, and I'm going to change it to 12. Then I am going to go down to my tabs button. Now my tabs button is way at the bottom. A tab allows you to move the text when you hit your tab key on the keyboard. So we want to tell the computer how far we want to move it when we want to hit the tab key. So I'm going to click the tabs button and this box pops up. Step E says type 7 in the tab stop position. So I'm going to click right here and just type a 7. Then underneath in alignment, I am going to pick right. And then underneath it says leader, I am going to choose the number 4 leader, which is a solid line. Then I am going to hit set, and then I am going to hit OK. Now before we do anything, what I want you to notice is at the top of your screen, kind of over this little triangle thing, you have this little backwards L thing. This is telling you you have a right tab. So you didn't have that before. By putting that tab in that way, that's how you put that tab in. Now, it says what I want to do in step I want to click at the end of the line, name and title of the insured, and press tab. So, when I press tab once, it moves over to that area that I told it to move over to, that 7-inch area. And what the leader did is it put that solid line in. It tells me I want to do the same thing for the next line after signature of the insured and after date of the application. So 2 tabs. Now, just in case I don't want to lose anything, I'm going to press Control S right now to save. Step 10, it says we want to add a multi-level list to the selected text. So it says select the lines of text beginning with applicant on the first page and ending with if yes, explain. So applicant is right here, and then if yes, explain, I'm going to move down, is right on the second page above insurance application disclaimer. So it's everything in the middle of the document. Step B tells us to click the multi-level list button. This is on your home tab. This is in your paragraph group here, and it looks like this button right here. Okay, now it says we don't want to pull down the arrow, we just want to click on the list. Now when you click on the list, you've got some choices here. So we are going to choose the choice 1 parenthesis, A parenthesis, which is right here, I parenthesis. Now you can see all of the lines got numbered. So everywhere that this document had an enter in it, it got a number. Now a multi-level is just going to allow us to indent some things. So step C says, with the text still selected, click the multi-level list button again and select define new multi-level list, which is, oh, I'm on the wrong list. Define new multi-level list right here. Now, step 10D says click Set for All Levels button to open the Set for All Levels dialog box. So Set for All Levels is right here. Okay. And then it tells us we want to set bullets and numbering position to the first level of 0. For the next level, so when we want to indent it a little bit, to 0.3. So I'm just going to backspace over this 0.25 and I'm going to put in a 0.3. And then if I want to indent again, I want to indent that another 0.3. So I'm going to backspace over this 0.25 and 0.3. And then it says click the OK button in this little pop-up to set these new levels, and then click the OK button again. Now, nothing really changed on your screen, but it's going to make a difference once we start indenting. So step 11, it says click anywhere in the list to deselect it. So it just wants you to not highlight anything, so I'm just going to click so my cursor is flashing. Then it tells me to place my insertion point in the number 13. So I'm going to scroll up to 13, and it says, if yes, limit required. Once I click here, I am going to then click my increase indent button. So my increase indent button is in my home tab, my paragraph group. There are these two buttons that have blue arrows. I mouse over the leftmost one. This is a decrease indent. I mouse over my rightmost one. This is my increase indent. I'm just sitting in this line. I click increase indent. It automatically indented this line. So now it's got a letter A, and my 13 now moved down a line. It says to repeat this for all of the if yeses. So I'm going to move through. My line 16 is an if yes. I'm going to go to my increase indent. Now my line 17, if yes, increase indent. And do this for each of your if yeses, and it's going to take you just a bit to do it. And then scroll down to your second page and keep going. Now, once you do this, and if you've got all of your if yeses, you should have your list now end at number 28. That's how you know that you've done this correctly. Step 12. 12A, we are going to select the entire multi-level list. So I'm going to go from the bottom up. I'm going to start from the rightmost side of 28A, and I'm just going to kind of drag up to select all the way through the number 1. Step B says click the paragraph launcher. Right here, this arrow to open it up. And then it tells me that I want to deselect don't add space between paragraphs of the same style checklist. So right here, I want to make sure that this is not selected. Okay, so deselect it. Mine wasn't selected in the first place. Step D says click your tabs button. Tabs button is at the bottom here to open it up. We are going to set a tab area here. Now it's going to be at the 7-inch position, and you might be asking yourself, didn't we already do this? We did this for the last 3 lines of the document. Now we're doing it for the middle 3 lines. So 7 is the tab stop position. Right tab is what we want to put in. And then we want to put a solid underline, which is the number 4 leader, and then you're going to click set and then OK. And again, you'll know that you did this right if you get this little backwards L here. That's your right tab. Step I says click at the end of the first numbered item, applicant. So after this little colon here, we're going to click and add, or click and put our cursor. It tells me to press tab, and a solid line appears. It tells me to continue doing this for each of the numbered and lettered paragraphs. So I'm going to go through each of the lines, go to the end of the line, tab, end of the line, tab, for everything, if it's a number or if it's a letter. So you continue to do that and then I'll kind of meet you when we are done with this. If you do something and or accidentally type something, Control Z is the best way to undo something. It's the easiest way. You do have an undo button at the top of your screen. You can also right click and choose undo, but I prefer Control Z. I'm now using my down pointing arrow on my keyboard. Just kind of makes it a little bit better. Oh, didn't work there. All right, and now I'm through 28A. So I'm going to go on to step 13. It tells me to save my document, Control S to save. And then it wants me to insert a page break in the document. So it tells me to put my insertion point before the text in number 22. So if you guys can see, 22 is on the first page, 22A is on the second page. We kind of want them to go together. So I'm going to put my cursor in front of R, and then I'm going to press the Control button plus Enter. And this actually puts in a page break. Now, if you wanted to put in a page break without doing that shortcut, if you go to your Layout tab, you guys can see that there's this Breaks button, and here you could have done it by just clicking on Page Break. Step 15, it says add a page number to the footer area. So we want to go back up to the top. The easiest way to go back up to the top is press your Control button and then press your Home button, which is on the right side of your keyboard. That takes you up to the top. Step B, it says click the page number button. This button is in your Insert tab, Header Footer Group. So I'm going to go to my Insert tab, and here's my Header Footer Group right here. I can see that I've got a page number button. It tells me that I want to choose bottom of the page, which is right here. And then I want to choose bold number 3. So I'm going to scroll through these here, accents, and then I've got bold numbers 3. And then I'm going to click the blank line below the page number in the footer area. So automatically I'm kind of underneath this dashed line. So it tells me you click underneath your page number here, and you want to hit the backspace button just to get rid of this extra line. It kind of shifts everything down. Now, on your tabs here at the top, a new tab popped up that's called Header Footer Tools Design, and there's an X here that allows us to close our header footer. So our page number is still here. It's kind of just grayed out now because we can't access it. I'm done with the project, so I'm going to Control S it to save it, and then I'm going to upload it to SimNet. So upload your file and then find it wherever you saved it. I saved it in my downloads folder, so now I kind of have to navigate through and figure out which one it is. And then it's going to ask you if you want to grade it. Yes, submit it. Now if you get anything wrong on your graded file, you have the option to resubmit it. So you guys can see I must have missed something here. I can click right here and see the paragraph space was wrong. So if I go back to step 12H, I can redo this. You would have to do it back on the Microsoft Word file and then just re-upload your file. I will take the higher score of the two. I hope this helped. If you guys have any questions, let me know.